Hey, my name's Dr. Nought. This is the Beginner's Guide, a relatively short game about finding out about a person. It's kind of like a little story that we're going to read, enjoy, participate in, however you want to describe it, whatever verb you want to use, together. This is the same guy that did the Stanley Parable. This came out in 2011, I believe. And the Stanley Parable I played. Very fun. Hilarious. So I think this has kind of got the similar bent to it. So let's just jump right in and see what it's about. I believe the audio is on. Let me know if my mic is turned off, even though you won't be able to tell me. Okay. Controls, WASD, and a little mousy mouse. Gotcha. Yeah, I know what the controls are.
Hi there. Thank you very much for playing the Beginner's Guide. My name is Davey Wreden. I wrote the Stanley Parable, and while that game tells a pretty absurd story, today I'm going to tell you about a series of events that happened between 2008 and 2011. We're going to look at the games made by a friend of mine named Coda. Now, these games mean a lot to me. I met Coda in early 2009 at a time when I was really struggling with some personal stuff, and his work pointed me in a very powerful direction. I found it to be a good reference point for the kinds of creative works that I wanted to make. So just to start you off, this is, I think, the first game he ever made. It's a level for Counter-Strike. You can walk around here, by the way. And mostly it's just Coda learning the basics of building a 3D environment. But what I like is that even though he starts from the simple aesthetic of a desert town, he then scatters these colorful abstract blobs and impossible floating crates around the level. And of course, it destroys the illusion that this actually is a desert town, and instead this level becomes a kind of calling card from its creator. It's like a reminder that this video game was constructed by a real person. And it kind of makes you wonder, what was going through his head as he was building this? This is what I like about all of Coda's games. I mean, not that they're all fascinating as games, but that they are all going to give us access to their creator. I want us to see past the games themselves. I want to get to know who this human being really is. And that's exactly what we're going to do here. So, it's 2008, Coda starts making these games, and he never releases any of them. He doesn't put them onto the internet, he just makes them and then immediately abandons them, and they sit on his computer forever. And I think he really understood this image of himself as a recluse. At one point, he jokingly renamed his computer's recycling bin to Important Games Folder. So, you know, this was just how he worked. He tended to crank them out one after the other without even really pausing to try to understand what he had just made, until suddenly one day, he just stopped. In 2011, that was it. He made his last game, and then he hasn't made another one since. And that's why I've taken this opportunity to gather all of his work together, is because I find his games powerful and interesting, and I'd like this collection to reach him, to maybe encourage him to start creating again. And if the people like you who play this also happen to find his work interesting, then I'm sure it'll just send that much stronger of a message of encouragement to Coda. So thanks for joining me on this. If you have a particular interpretation that I haven't mentioned here, or if you just need to get in touch, you can email me at daveywreden@gmail.com. Okay, that's about it for introduction. Let's take a look at Coda's first proper game. As each game is loading, I'll show you the date that it was completed. This first one was made in November 2008.
Alright, so we're kind of like in real life situation? Yeah, not? Holy... Why did that scare me? Warning, Whisper machine status active, evacuate immediately.
This game is called Escape from Whisper, and it's one of the more generic games you'll see from Coda.
Generic? Oh. Doesn't seem that generic. I mean, I guess it's kind of like your generic starship. Am I supposed to shoot anything, or I just have... Okay, I can't go that way. Let's get out of here. The ship is gonna explode. Alright, so yeah, it's pretty linear, Coda, but I guess this is pretty good for the first game.
Hostile alien life forms inbound.
Where? Do I get to actually shoot something?
It kinda looks like this game was abandoned mid-development. For instance, you have this gun, which you'd think would indicate that there are supposed to be monsters or enemies somewhere.
Yeah.
But then clearly there are no enemies anywhere.
Oh, there's like a
You
window
can't
here.
even reload the gun when you run out of bullets. But ultimately we don't really know. Maybe Coda thought that actually it was complete the way that it is. And I think that we should talk about his games for what they are, rather than for what they're not.
I'm out of bullets, by the way.
Enemy force neutralized. Begin ship evacuation.
Whoa.
I love how you can see the bottom of the universe from this room.
That's funny. This is kind of a weird concept for a game, just a compilation of not complete games that are being narrated by a person that didn't make the games but enjoy the games. Is there something from somewhere for me to go? Okay. It's got like this very minimalist feel. Like there's like not a
Apparently this space
lot to
station
do.
has a labyrinth on it.
Oh, cool.
Sure, I don't know. There's really no reason for it that I've ever been able to discern, so in the interest of time, I'm just gonna skip you on past it.
Wait, what? Thank you. I still have no more bullets, or whatever those were.
Okay, this is the part that's interesting.
Tell me.
The game has this narrative about the whisper machine and how it has to be turned off, and then you get to the engine room.
Hey, you there, in the engine room. You could save us all. That beam is powering a whisper machine. We could disrupt it by introducing a great enough heat signature. If your body could stop the beam.
You want me
It's
to?
so much to ask, but for all of our lives, would you do it? Could you give yourself?
You want me to sacrifice myself for nobody that I know? Sure, let's go. Yeah.
Let me pause here for a second. What you just experienced, stepping into the beam and then dying, is probably what Coda had initially intended when he was developing this level. But when he first compiles and plays it, something goes wrong. There's a bug somewhere. And this is what happens instead.
We reset. Huzzah! Wait. Whoa. Whoops.
The beam causes you to start floating. And this is an important moment for him. Because yes, this is technically a glitch, but Coda identifies something human about it, like how small it makes you feel in the face of this larger chaotic system. Or this floating could be the afterlife, a peaceful place, juxtaposed against all of the hysteria that you've just had to traverse. I don't even know. I have no idea what he was thinking, but what's clear is that after making this, something lodges itself in his brain. He wants to do more of these really weird and experimental designs. So he stops work on this and moves on to a stream of tiny little games that go in all sorts of directions. Let's go ahead and take a look at the first game he made after leaving this one behind.
So the third game he made. Oh, looks about the same. The past was behind her. What it's called?
Yep, in this game you can only walk backwards.
What? Oh my gosh. As I walk into a wall. Oh. Yeah, so like I'm trying to go forwards. Nope. So I have to go back.
So it's a short and relatively minimalist experiment combining motion and narrative. It is less advanced than the previous game, but actually it seems to be more focused, more complete. Coda's trying to give it a unique voice rather than simply basing it on a pre-existing trope.
But the future could not be seen. So is there more to do? Is that what you're telling me here? Why does the future keep changing? I don't know. Because that's what the future does. When she stops and looks, it becomes clearer. If I could go forward, it'd become clearer too. Just saying. But if the future is always behind her, how will she find the strength to confront it?
It's a short little thought, it says what it wants to say, and then it ends. Didn't need anything more than that.
Is that a game?
Which to me is why it works, because it gets out quick. Okay, next one.
I mean, some would say that's a game. It's kind of like, what is art? What is a game? Like, why does it necessarily have to be like fighting bad guys and... Oh, good. You are now entering... What am I entering? Where'd it go? Where'd the sign go? The sign went away! Something... Wait. Did I just go backwards? The sign's still there, that's good. Or are we gonna keep doing this? Okay.
And that's it. Okay, the meaning of this game won't be clear just yet. Please be patient with me for a few more games, and I promise you'll see what makes it interesting.
Alright, I'm trusting. He's making like a game a month, albeit nonsense.
Oftentimes, Coda would put bizarre titles like this one at the start of his games.
In nearly every direction. Nonsense in nearly every direction.
I wish I'd known him at the time that he was making these early games. He would really only talk to me about his work as he was making it. Once he stopped work on a game, like, that was it. It was dead to him. And I don't agree with that at all, but what are you gonna do?
Nothing, because he's the creator. He can do whatever he wants. It's up to the public to be receptive or not. No, the gravity's increasing.
Once you've been slowed to an absolute crawl, the door at the top of the stairs opens. So why, if Coda's not showing these games to anyone, why bother opening the door at all? Well, to show you, I'm modifying the game here so that when you press enter, it'll bring you back up to full speed so you can enter the door for yourself.
There we go. Alright, so modify the game. What's in the door? Or through the door? You walk around talking to people down... Wait. You walk around talking people down from pursuing their hopes and dreams. You start in a small room until you realize you can just walk through the walls. Again? Can't. A button you press to stop the chaos that doesn't work.
And nice, and filled with little ideas for games.
These are ideas? Stand on an X staring at a bear for 3 hours.
Coda would often tell me that he didn't mind if people thought of him as cold or distant. He said that he knew that he was actually a vibrant and compassionate person, but that it takes time to really see that. It can be a very slow climb to get there.
Press U to surrender. Doesn't work. These sound like amazing, amazing games. Not. Oh, okay. Well. Ready, set, fish. Ooh, is it a fishing game? That would be too much action, I think. I bet you this has nothing to do with fish. Let's see if we can somehow make this...
Well, this is new for Coda. It's an actual puzzle.
It is?
Go ahead and see if you can solve it.
What's the puzzle? I don't think that's going anywhere. So it's how do we open this door? Can I get back up here? Oh, crap. Aha.
Don't forget that solution, because we're going to see this puzzle again soon.
Okay,
We're
thank
gonna see
you.
it a lot.
Oh, thanks. What the hell are these supposed to be? Okay, so now we're stuck down here again. No levers or levers, however you'd like to describe or pronounce them there.
So that seems to be it, right? You walk down a corridor, you solve a puzzle, you get to the end. Simple enough. Alright, now I'm going to modify the game again so that when you press enter, it'll remove all of the walls from this room.
So there are a lot of extra rooms here that don't...
How about that? There was more to it than we had any way of knowing. I actually find it funny that this game comes after the Stairs game, since they essentially convey the opposite idea. So, in the Stairs game, a dull exterior concealed a rich interior. And then, in this level, a dull interior hides this fantastic outer world. Either way, I think that the point is the same, is that most of the time you don't get to know what you're missing, or even that you're missing anything. That's not your role as a player. So if your role here is not to understand, then what is it?
To win? I don't know. To complete whatever is supposed to be... Oh, good. I was hoping for more of this. You are now exiting, I gotcha. We'll keep walking.
So, this, combined with the entering game from earlier, tells us that Coda believes his games are connected somehow. It could even be that the Stairs game and the puzzle game are literally connected in between this and the entering game. There's a bigger picture that all of his games are meant to play a role in, some larger meaning that we won't be able to grasp until we've seen all of them. And once we have, we can step back and start to understand what exactly that bigger picture is.
Alright, so now we're March 2009. So what this reminds me of is just over-analyzing poetry. Like what I used to do in English class in school. The Great and Lovely Descent, okay. Where you get a piece of prose, and then it's just something like, the darkest night shall doth behind you fill your light with pure enrichment. I don't know. And then we sit there for 20 minutes like analyzing what the hell that means, and it's supposed to be like some figurative...
Let's talk about video game development for a second.
Okay.
Every video game runs on what's called an engine, which determines what the game can and cannot do. So in other words, the engine is a set of tools for game development.
Okay. Yeah, and then...
To make all of these games, Coda is using an engine called Source. Like all engines, Source has certain things that it does well, and it has certain things that it does poorly. One of the things that it does very well is boxy linear corridors. That's why so many of Coda's games are set in these large, flat, empty rooms, is just because he's working with what the engine does well.
You let me finish my thought, or what?
The tools available to the creator shape what kinds of creative work they're going to end up making. You might consider paying attention to the architecture in Coda's games, to notice how they seem to stem from an engine that's very good at producing linear, boxy corridors.
Oh yeah, that's the way of putting it too. It's very good at making it look crappy. Anyway, so we just overanalyze like a few sentences. I feel like that's what's happening here. I don't mind it. I don't mind the overanalyzing, but it's like thinking about games way more than I would have thought about them, which is, again, not a bad thing. Just, you know. But honestly, like this is so like this very old looking. Oh no, I'm stuck in a fence area. I know this game came out 7 years ago, but I think, okay, I think even for then it's kind of old looking. This is an elevator. I go this way. Nope. All right, I'll go this way.
Prison, funny enough, in Coda's original design, the doors stayed shut for a full hour before letting you go.
Cool.
If you don't mind, I think we're gonna skip that.
No, I want the full experience. Okay.
This is something that he and I used to argue about a lot. You know, whether a game ought to actually be playable, whether it means anything if no one can get through it. And I would always defend that, you know, all this work goes into the game, why not make it playable and accessible? And so we just got into heated arguments over it, and there was one time that after one of these conversations, he went home, and a day or two later, he sent me a zip file entitled Playable Games that was full of hundreds of individual games, each of which was just an empty box that you walked around in and nothing else. Believe me, I played every single one of those just to find out if there was like a gag hidden somewhere.
There wasn't? Yeah. Coda seems like a guy that would like modern art. You know, just the kind of thing that where us normal folk would look at it and be like, cool, it's a bunch of shapes, and he'd look at it and be like, no, this is the meaning of life.
It's the puzzle again, with the exact same solution as the last time.
Coda's not that smart.
There's still no clear indication of what makes this puzzle so special that Coda is going to return to it over and over.
He's just not creative.
I promise I'll share with you my interpretation very shortly.
My interpretation is he's not creative. He thinks he's so smart because he's making all these like abstract things like, oh, what if I hide all these tunnels behind the wall, and when you jump up here you can see the end of the universe. I'm so cool. But then he's like, but when it comes down to it, I can't think of a puzzle, so I have to use the same one over and over. Of course, I'm being entirely cynical and sarcastic, just so you know. I'm trying to play devil's advocate for this kind of artsy-fartsy game, you know? Here we go. Listen, listen, listen. You there, did you come from up above?
Here, Coda begins using
there?
a kind of dialogue system that he fashioned out of the engine's chat capabilities. Use the 1, 2, 3 buttons on your keyboard to respond.
Thanks, I'm an idiot. I couldn't figure that out. Okay, yes, there was a world stamped with whiteness. Yes, there was an enormous prison I spent hours in. Yes, there were these floating colored blocks. Let's do the prison one. That's the world above. You've been there. Now this is important. Did you have to get through a puzzle with 2 doors and switches? Yes, I did. That was literally the last thing I did before coming here, which is not literally the last thing I did. The last thing I did was walk through someplace that doesn't exist anymore. No, I don't remember having to go through any puzzle, or I prefer not to tell you. After all, we've only just met. Let's just be honest. Again, perfect. Now, please tell us how you solved it. Tell us the solution, and tell us how to get to the other side. I don't remember how I solved it. I'm trying to remember, but I can't. Or I didn't solve it. Someone else let me in. Or, trust me, you don't want to go over there. Let's do that one. Oh no, but I do. We need to get there. Do you understand? It is the most important thing in the world. We have to escape this prison. There must be an ending. I promise you, there is nothing I want more. Well, the door opened. You gonna go, or are you just gonna sit here? Okay, I'll go. I'll go for you. It's very narrow. Fortunately, I've been working out. Oh, there are more of yous. Hello, how did you get here? Was there a puzzle? No, I've been right here this entire time. I suggest you go and see the puzzle sometime. It's not meant to be solved, but you can sit in the black space in the middle. Who are you? Just go hang out there in that blackness for a bit. You may not like it at first, but it'll grow on you, eventually. Okay, let's just go hang out in the blackness. Blackness of my soul that I shall go hang out in.
And so we make one last descent down to the final floor of the level.
These walls look rough. It's like it's damp down here. Get me out. Claustrophobic. Is this the blackness? Are we still in prison? Can I climb this?
It's a lamppost.
Yes, it is.
Okay, I can't tell you quite why, but for some reason, Coda fixates on this lamppost. It's going to appear at the end of every single one of his games from here on out. I'll tell you what I think. I think that up to this point, you know, he's been making really strange and abstract games with no clear purpose, and maybe you can only float around in that headspace for so long. Because now he wants something to hold on to. He wants a reference point. He wants the work to be leading to something. He wants a destination, which is what this lamppost is. It's a destination. We're going to see it in the work as well. His games are just going to become a lot more cohesive, a lot more fully developed, with more of a clear idea behind them. And as we go, that idea will get clearer and clearer and clearer.
And clearer? Or just 3? Okay. Great. So there's like a light at the end of the game. It's kind of like a checkpoint. I don't know. Or an endpoint. Alright, so now we're only in April 2009. This game is connected to the internets. As you walk around, you can leave notes. All notes you see are left by other players, I'm sure they are. Alright, blocky shit again. Yeah. What's this? Nice room. Not. Yeah. My thoughts exactly.
So first off, I'm sure you can deduce this, but this game is not connected to the internet. All of the notes that you're gonna see have been written by Coda.
Yeah.
This was actually the first game of his that I ever played. This was shortly after I met him at a weekend game jam in Sacramento, where I grew up. I saw him working on this very level, and it was just so different from anything that anyone else was doing. So right away I was like, I have to be friends with this person. In retrospect, I think I was probably a bit too pushy, trying to get his attention. I was over-enthusiastic. But he was very gracious about it and very patient with me. And I cooled off eventually. Oh, feel free to skip over any of these notes if they're not doing anything for you. Nothing extra is going to happen if you read all of them.
Oh, I was hoping
Either
something
way,
extra would happen.
To me, they convey a sense of loneliness. I see this person who's filled with thoughts and feelings and beliefs and has no way to express them except as scattered and unheard voices in a game that wasn't meant to be played.
First to know? What? Where am I supposed to go, though? This way?
But it's
Let's
ironic,
say.
isn't it? That
No.
in playing this game and seeing how alone Coda often
My
felt,
God.
that we get to know him better and actually kind of connect with him. And I have to be honest with you, this idea is really seductive to me. That I could just play someone's game and see the voices in their head and get to know them better and have to do less of the messy in-person socializing. I could just get to know you through your work. I think this is why I always liked Coda's games so much, is because it felt like they let me have that connection. I felt as though he was inviting me personally into his world. And then I feel less lonely too.
So, like, somehow these notes are supposed to tell you about him? I don't see it. Cool cavern, bro. Yeah. Now I know you so much better, bro. This game is so... Nope. This game is no nice. I would like it when I could. What? Okay. So if we were going to get out of here, let's go down this way. Did I miss any? I kind of, like... the completionist in me wants to, like... at least knock all of these. What the shit is this cavern? What the shit? Boring indeed. Making fun of his own work, that's cool. I'm sure you guarantee that there is an acorn somewhere here in this place and the sailors are looking for it. My god, are you joking me with this? Get me out of here! I refuse to believe. Butt ass butt, okay. Recognize me, please. I don't think we're supposed to hit all these anyway. Free t-shirt, I'll take it. Oh my god, can we go through this door? How open? Open sesame. Makes game, includes door, can I open door? Thanks. I'll open it. Open! No. Ooh, look at that. Okay, I'm not gonna... let's just keep walking. If you want to read them, pause them as I go. I'm not reading all these things. There's so many. Stop. I think, like, I'm getting like 3 words out of it. I need 2 words. There's a question on that one. I don't listen. Wait, how do we get to that painting? Wait, yeah, it's over here, right? There it is. Look at that thing. What's this say? Stop faking it. Okay, we gotta go the one right under the painting. Whoa. From up here, it just looks like dots. Whoa. Can you like see behind it? Not really. Not really. Devil Tower, something. Doop, doop, doop. There must be a reason for it, though. Terrible secret. He kept it well. Oh, what is it, Coda? You beat the game? Again, this is
At the end of this level,
game?
we're going to see the puzzle again. And here, I'll tell you what I think the puzzle means.
Tell me.
Each of these games represents an idea that was on Coda's mind at the time that he was making it. And the puzzle is a way of closing the door on a previous chapter of his life before moving on to the next one. In each of his games, after exploring a theme that, he might find difficult, Coda can then place this puzzle that he knows has a reliable solution, he understands exactly how it works, and so it gives him a simple mechanism for moving on.
That's your interpretation? These people can't figure out what the puzzle is. Oh my god, I've been here for literally an hour. Yeah, okay. Help. Help. Second door won't open. Wow, these guys can't figure it out. These noobs.
And because there's this dark area between the doors, a space between spaces, before you move on, you get to pause. Just for a moment, a few seconds to reflect on and let go of the events that led you here. To step back and connect the pieces together. To grasp at that elusive bigger picture.
Oh, it's the paparazzo. How do you leave notes? Alright. There it is! Oh, it's just typewriters. 100 typewriters. Are you there? Please say something. It can't be anything. I just need you to say something. Talk to me, please. Why are you having so much difficulty talking? Speak, 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 speak. Wow, this one took him up to maybe 2 months to make. This is gonna be amazing. Porn stars die
Okay, this
too.
one is tough. It's gonna kind of just spin its own wheels for a few minutes. Hang with it.
AKA, I can't leave until 5 minutes from now or something. So what's new, guys? Oh, the door opened. Is this the bathroom? Ooh, this is a sexy place. We started in like a gated bedroom, because, I like to pretend that I'm in jail when I'm in bed. And then we've just, all of these places are concrete. It's terrible.
See, like, this is it. The whole game. And there's nothing that's particularly interesting about it. You just walk to the end of a hallway. Except, for some reason, Coda gets really fixated on this prison that has all of this modern furniture. And I don't know why, but he decides he needs to revisit this prison. He's gonna start over, use the same assets, turn it into something else. Okay, cool. Here's version 2.
Okay, first off, I think we're at the bottom of that. What furniture ought to go in the center of the room? Let's see, how about a TV with surround sound, a refrigerator, or put a giant hole in the ground? Let's see that one. That's not a hole. What the hell is that supposed to be? Okay, what about along the wall of the room? Let's put a huge picture of a horse. I really like a washing machine, or 10 stoves lined up along the wall. Let's do the ridiculous one. That's not what I asked for. I think we should light up this room a bit. Skylight, full ceiling window, let's open this baby up. I'm thinking 10 by 12 recessed electric 6-inch soft LED ceiling lights with fluorescent trim. Or we'll put live Tesla coils in each corner, yeah. Did you actually do that for me, or are you just ignoring me? Yeah, apparently you're ignoring me. And a table, you need a table. Who are you? Where exactly are you doing this from? I'm pretty sure none of my choices are making any difference. Yep. Let's be self-aware. I don't care when tables were invented. 1935, really? I feel like that isn't right.
There's a bit more to this one, but still it's not really communicating anything. It's kind of just weird for weirdness' sake.
Also, I was promised that there'd be a lamppost at the end of this game, and on version 1 there
So,
wasn't.
okay, he throws it out and starts over. This time he comes at the prison idea from a different direction.
Hello, please walk forward. Okay. This guide will enable you to escape my prison environment. Follow the instructions carefully. Take care that you remember each step. First, click on this table. Good. Go over to the photo frame and click on it. And click to turn it slightly. Okay. Now turn the floor lamp in this room off, then turn it back on. Whatever you say, mister. Now go to the left-sided sofa. Move it over a little bit. Finally, touch the shelves. That's it! In a real prison, the escape will now open. Print at the start to be taken back to your prison. Okay. Can I touch this table? No. Return. Analyze that.
And of course, now the table is gone and you can't begin the chain of events to escape. Here's a version where there are no bars, but you can't actually get to the well. And then a version where the inside of the prison is the outside and the outside is the inside.
Cool.
Let me just blink you real quick through a few more of these. I mean, he really unloaded on this prison idea. There's nearly a dozen of them. Personally, I think it's awful to watch this, to see a person basically unraveling through their work. And for what? Like, at what point do you just go, maybe there are game ideas other than this prison that I could be working on? But Coda doesn't have that voice telling you to stop, that particular mechanism of defense against yourself. Without it, you just spiral. And so he keeps going and going and going and going and going, and then he hits on something. And he likes it. And that's it. He's done. He stops making prisons.
Maybe he started taking
This is
medicine.
the very last version of the prison game that he created. And the reason I think it works is that the prison is not actually in it.
Then how do you know it's a prison game? It's got the light post, so that makes me happy. Okay. These textures are just butt ugly. I know that's supposed to be leaves, but ugh. Gross. Alright, what is this? Telephone booth? Popcorn machine? Cotton candy maker? Yeah, let's get inside. What the? Can't even move this. Hello? Who is this? Hey, it's me. I'm from your, wait. I'm you from after you escaped the prison. What? You're me? So you were trapped in this prison too? Yep, I was in the furniture maze. Yep, I was in the escape tutorial. Yep, I was in the reverse prison.
This is what Coda wants, is to be able to talk to someone, to share what's on his mind, and to get some good advice from someone who knows. But the irony is that even in this scenario, you're still talking to yourself. You know, all of these games so far are Coda talking to himself.
Actually, I'm already forgetting what being in prison was like. It's strange, but in a way, I kind of miss being in prison, or it feels like being completely still and wildly in motion at the same time. Let's do this one. I miss being in prison, you know? Why? Was there anything about it that you felt good about? Being here sucks. True, maybe I only like things once I don't have them anymore, or it was comfortable, I knew its limits, I knew my place, or, but don't you feel excited about getting out, the promise of freedom? Let's do this, the first one. I'd do that too, I guess. But is that just how I'm gonna be forever? I'd really like to change that. Maybe, or no, I think you'll find a way to change. Yeah, optimistic. If you don't like yourself, you can change. Wait, if you're me, then did you get a call from another version of you when you were trapped? Yes, I did get a call, that's how I escaped. Let's just do that never-ending loop thing. What did they tell you? What did you have to do to get out? All they told me was to be sincere, or they asked me how I felt about being imprisoned, or they just talked to me for a while. Let's do this one. What? That freed you? How does that work? Listen, you can't know until you're out, but I promise it works, or just tell me how you feel, or it'll make sense. Okay, I feel afraid that nothing will ever change. Go on.
I can see why he considers this a fitting conclusion to the prison games.
Really? Because I can't.
After all of the obsession and frustration, just to be told by someone you can trust that things are going to be okay. Wouldn't that be nice?
I guess it would. I don't know. I just wouldn't play any of these games.
So what would it look like if Coda wanted to make a game about talking to someone other than himself?
It would look like walking out your front door and talking to anybody, going to buy groceries and talking to somebody, being a normal human.
To me, this environment is meant to represent Coda's puzzle, with the 2 doors on either side and a dark transitional space between.
Okay, door, I presume, with a building. Oh no. Oh no. But my goodness, I'm glad as all heck that you showed up. Thought I might be having to clean this entire house all by myself, and right miserable that would have been. Everyone knows lonesome hands make lousy homes. Okay, so it says, don't worry about me.
You'll notice that the quality of the art is a step up from previous games.
That is true.
Including this new and improved chat system, which he started using from this point on. From here on out, he begins putting much more effort into the visual polish of his work, and this particular game took 2 months to create as a result.
Clear the table. Clear, look at that. Run into the bedroom and make the bed. Why am I cleaning your house for you? And you're not even offering having me stay here. Can I clean this for you? No. Oh my god, this is messy. Look at that. Made. While you're in there, why don't you just straighten up the rug a bit? All the little details matter. Yeah, let's be mean. It's been a long time since I've seen a house this messy. This line of work, you let go of those judgments pretty fast. It may not be your apartment, but something in your life needs straightening up. Think you've got nothing that needs cleaning? Be careful, because that means it's everything. At any rate, my place is just to see a bit of peace brought here. What? Speaking of which, the pillows on this couch are a wreck. Would you come out and straighten them? I wanted to before, but you wouldn't let me. Oh dear, it looks like someone spilled a drink over my couch. That's not your couch, is it? Gotcha. Maybe mop that up as long as you're over there. I feel compelled to share an incredibly cheesy personal insight. You okay with that? Make it especially cheesy. Saturated fat cheesy. No? Tell me. No. No, it was stupid. Sorry. Never mind. Don't be shy. Hey, these dishes need to be washed. Why don't you come do that? Okay, fine. I'm like super fast at what I do. Last I checked, the tub needs cleaning. How about you scrub it down the best you can? Gotcha. No need to be perfect. We're all just human, are we? Are there still books scattered on the floor in the bedroom? If so, would you put them back on the shelf? Are there? Jeez. Perfect. Now then, how about you come and clear these dishes off the table?
After the intense set of prison games, this house cleaning level almost feels like cleansing.
No, it feels like
it's the moment after a particularly difficult or traumatic experience where you just need to let it sit and digest inside of you, and eventually cohere into something meaningful.
Don't call me darling. Let me tell you something. Whatever work you do, you've absolutely got to own it. Otherwise, it owns you. So why don't we be with a task at hand and leave the future chores to future you?
I know that Coda
Present
really
you wants to
this
smooth out the rug in the bedroom.
Of all of his work, actually, this was the only one that he called me up to ask me to come over and look at it. This was during a period of a few months where he was, like, grossly happy all the time. Just walked around with a constant smile on his face.
This Coda guy, don't really think I'd like him. Earlier when I said I had a really cheesy thought, I was going to say that it occurs to me that one's house is a lot like one's soul. You take care of it, and it takes care of you. Don't know why I felt so weird about saying that. Let's see, yeah, but there's a bit of truth in it, no? Anyway. So you're like boxy. So, housekeeping, let's keep doing this. Books. Oh yeah, this is so fun. I really hope we get to keep doing this, 'cause things just never end. They just keep getting dirty. Oh goodness, those pillows at the couch are a real mess.
I'm glad you made this. I'm glad you found some peace.
Question.
But
do you enjoy
course,
this?
It can't last. The music stops, your companion is gone, it's time to leave.
Thank God.
The door at the top of the hill is now open as well. Again, you can't stay in the dark space for too long. You just can't. You have to keep moving. It's how you stay alive.
Was that supposed to be soothing? It was more just like pedantic to me, honestly. There we are.
Which is the whole point of the puzzle doors, right? That sooner or later you have to pick up and move. I really thought that was the point of it.
I don't think that's the point of it. Don't ask me what the point of it is, but it just seems like that's too much. Items you love at members only prices. Really? It has been goofy since so far? Oh no, we're in school. Why did you come here today? Was it to improve your life? Was it to get a better job? Was it to make your relationships more meaningful? No. You came here to become perfect. That's what university does to you. This workshop is going to teach you how to be perfect. I want your friends, the people in your life, to look at you and think, wow, this person is a better human being than I am. Right now, who do you think about that way in your own life? Who do you know who is so well developed as a person that they make you feel disgusted with yourself? Compared to whom you feel useless, selfish, ungrateful. I intend to make you into that person. Perfection is within your grasp. And the question is not how do we do it, but how do we do it effortlessly. This is easy. It is so easy. It is so easy.
About halfway through the game,
being perfect is effortless.
Shifts.
And oh, can I choose two? I can. On the way to work, I told an elderly person to start contributing to society.
And suddenly, you discover that your teacher is just as bigoted and afraid as you are. Oh, and also you can move around the classroom now.
Let me walk over here and tell you, I still love you. It's just that you make me feel cold on the inside. And then I'll walk over to the middle and be like, look at this blank screen. Drinking is not hurting my life. These are my, like, thoughts that I'm not saying, I assume. Ew, I'm developing a cyst. Gross. What the hell? Also, anyone want to do some ecstasy after this? Am I saying this? This thing's staying in the middle. Oh, it's always centered on me. Holy shit, you guys. Something is coming out of the back of the room. Look out! It's coming for you. It's going to destroy you. I'm not going to choose any yellow text. This is, oh, that's me originally before.
I feel like it's one of the most relatable experiences that you can have.
Really?
To assume that some other person is perfect and totally fulfilled in every way, and completely miss all of the little flaws that make them painfully human. I think about this game a lot these days.
You got a lot of time on your hands, buddy? I kind of feel a little mean, like this guy's like burying his soul and
this one took a lot longer than all the others for Coda to make.
I'm just making fun of them.
It was 4 months between this and the last one.
Wow.
That's twice as long as it took him to make any other game before this. And it's not like it's particularly complex, so I remember I found that a little strange at the time.
Oh, look, it's the stage. This is like the title scene or whatever of the game. Cool. God! Alright, the performance is beginning. Places, please! In this scene, you'll be playing as me. We are at a gathering of professionals. First, you'll start out leaning against this wall. Which wall? Okay. I'm leaning. Good, stay right there. The woman across the room in this chair is a professional photographer of animals. It's your dream to photograph animals professionally. This is your one chance to learn something from her, to gain something, to succeed. Go on, say something to her. Where is the bathroom? What are you doing? You're deflecting. You're not saying what's actually on your mind. Stop dancing around it and have a conversation with this person. Do it again. Let's see, what else does it say? Focused, wise, happy, and successful. Nice. Here are all my hopes and dreams. No, that's not what I said to tell her at all. You're completely missing the tone of the conversation. I was reserved, but I knew what I wanted. I was confident. For some reason, it was just that one moment, but I was confident. Maybe it's that you need a better feel of the setting. There were a lot of people around us. I'll give you some props to work with. These cones that bounce when you touch them will represent the people nearby. They bounce when I touch them? I'll talk to her again. Oh. Cool. You must have worked really hard to get where you are. I'll bet you've learned to lead into the pain. Let's do the first one. You're messing it up all again. Oh my gosh. You'll freak her out if the conversation gets that personal that quickly. Do you not realize how important this was for me? I'll never get another opportunity like this again. Everything was riding on this. I want to try something. Try stepping back from the stage. Okay. Down this infinite hallway, you mean? Okay, I'm back here. Great. More? Okay, yes. Now this is working.
The game ends with this
is
eerie
what it
premonition of what's going to happen next in
like,
Coda's life.
Whatever he said, I don't know.
The solution to social anxiety, to fears of having to perform and having to chase success, the answer for Coda is to withdraw, to hide himself away. Which is what leads to scenarios like the stairs that slowed you down several games ago, where it just becomes harder and harder to access Coda's inner landscape because he keeps retreating. He just keeps backing away from possible connections to anyone other than himself. And to be honest, I didn't consider it very healthy when I first played this game. You know, it looked to me like he was trying to justify the idea of just disconnecting yourself from the world. And that wasn't what I wanted for him or for his games. Because I feel like a lot of his games are inviting me to connect with this person, to bring him closer.
Yeah, but you're connecting with him, but he's not connecting you with you back.
After this, Coda went off and took another 5 months to make a new game.
Alright, June 2010. Mobius trip. To play this game properly, you must keep your eyes closed. Cool, let's do it. My eyes are actually closed. Okay, well, I'm gonna open my eyes now because, okay, yeah. Why did I go blind? Okay, I don't know why. It happened to me too. Help, I'm blind. I can't see what's going on. Let's do that one. You can't see anything either. Uh-oh, we're gonna run into that thing. Okay. Wait, what? SS Whisper.
You should probably open your eyes if you haven't already.
Yes,
it's
I
pretty
have.
much impossible to solve otherwise. And there is a solution, by the way.
Is there a big lever? That we can open the door with? Okay. We're gonna keep doing this? Alright. Is it just getting to the lamppost? The way to stop is to speak something that is honest. I can't keep making these. Yes, that's it. That's the truth. course it is. These games suck, so I have to stop making them. Just kidding.
Like I said,
It's
I was
draining
getting
me.
concerned. First off, he's never been this explicit in his work about exactly what he's thinking. So where's that coming from? But then even weirder, his work has potentially stopped being an outlet for him. Not like he's having trouble iterating on ideas, but he literally just can't think of new ideas anymore. And in person, he was being a lot more distant than usual. Like, you know how sometimes a person will just deflect anything that you say in order to keep themselves disconnected all the time? It was that kind of thing. Here was the point in my relationship with Coda where I really started to wonder if he needed my help in some way. His games are going to get more desperate from here on out. After this game, it's almost 6 months before he finishes something new.
You know, it's hard to keep making these amazing games. Like, so much creative energy is required to make boxy games that last 5 seconds. Ooh. Hello? Hello, is anyone there? Jump! Is that a person? How lovely! It's been a long time since I talked to anyone. What's wrong? You look lost. Well, I have nothing left to give to my work. Every time I say something, we get more space to cover here. Oh no! What's happened? Did something change? Trying to find this engine that used to protect me to start it again. Wait, you're looking for a machine? I think I know where it is. It isn't far. I need to see it to know why it stopped. I can take you to it, but there's a problem.
If the last game featured Coda talking explicitly about his creative frustrations, this one turns it up to 11. Now, put yourself in my shoes playing this. Here's a friend whose work is exhibiting signs of struggle, frustration, anxiety, depression, even. And yet, still, he keeps making games. He keeps throwing himself into the grinder even when he clearly doesn't have the energy for it anymore. Why? What is it for? Because from my perspective at the time and just what I knew of him, this was a result of how isolated he was. He was in his own little bubble, just sitting at his computer all day, not really showing these games to anyone, not releasing them onto the internet, and so he didn't have anyone outside of himself to connect with. He had no outlet to ground himself on. You can't talk yourself out of loneliness. It doesn't work that way. You can't be the one writing both the questions and the answers. Then there's no movement. Then there's no circulation. If all of your anxieties are being channeled into your work, then if the work ever fails, you have no backup and you're just going to crash.
Okay, trust me, you'll see. You have to say that your work is fun and easy. You have to say that game development is simple, or, yeah, and joyous, and that you love it 100% of the time. So, sure, making games is easy. Aw, that feels wonderful. But it wasn't true. Don't worry about it, just keep talking. Keep saying that creation is easy. Let's see. I am constantly excited and enthusiastic about my work. You have to open the door. Yes, there was these floating colored blocks.
Seeing this game at the time that he made it, it looked really unhealthy to me. I was watching him do this to himself, and I hated it. I hated seeing him so trapped. It's like, video games are not worth this amount of suffering. This is someone I really cared about. And I used to get so much joy out of seeing him create. For him to suddenly become angry and frustrated like this, It was the worst thing for me. I don't know. This is what I felt at the time. I don't know how else to explain it. I wanted it to stop more than anything. I had never felt so rotten. I needed more than I had ever needed anything for this to stop.
There's a real person.
But it didn't stop. After finishing this one, Coda takes another 7 months and comes up with a new game.
Alright, so we're in 2011. This is the final year. The Machine. Don't mind me, I'm just going to... Ma'am, glad to see you've arrived safely. We've captured the machine, it's waiting for you now. You can begin the interrogation whenever you like. I intend to be brutal. Let me in. Very good. Just be warned that someone called the press, so we might have a bit of attention on this one. Also, one more thing that you should know about the machine. It calls itself Coda. Whoa. Don't say, huh? Oh my Lanta. Wait, I guess I don't need to do that, do I? Hey, yes, ma'am, give us some answers. What have you done? Will it be punished? Blah, blah, blah. Okay. There you are, you filthy machine. You stopped.
And of course, it's the machine.
Like a generator or something? Your work was keeping us alive. Stupid machine, roar! Those people out there, can you imagine what pain you've put them through? Or it was only because of your creations that any of us could make it through every day. How could we possibly go back to trusting you to do this job? Yeah, let's ask that question. It's not gonna answer. I'm gonna ask. Let's, you have to admit that the people that you allowed them to suffer. Do something, you stupid machine. I have seen the thing you fear. Ha 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 ha. No? Alright then, I will speak to them for you. Oh, I just got pushed out of the way. Let me explain. My friends, it falls on me to deliver bad news. The machine refuses to admit that it deliberately hurt us. How do you feel about that? We will find a way to live without it. We do not need its games. Let us show it that we are not failures. Follow me, we will destroy everything that the machine has created. This way. Let's destroy this dumb game. Go for the lights. Holy moly. Die! Nice, this is like, this is cleansing. Let's see, we're gonna make sure his work dies here. Let's delete this whole place. Okay, the ground doesn't do anything, we can't delete the ground. Isn't that what you're scared of? Having to live without your precious creations? Having to deal with yourself?
So now the work is becoming self-destructive. And I'll tell you, at the time that I first played this game, shortly after he made it, here's what I'm thinking to myself.
What do you think?
I'm thinking that Code is stuck in his own head, and that it's having a very negative effect on him, and that all he needs to do is just start showing his work to people, to get some actual feedback on his games. It might get him out of isolation. And so, as I'm thinking this, I realize that I could be the one to initiate it. Because it would never occur to Coda to start actively soliciting feedback, so what if I did it for him? If he could see the difference it would make to have more actual conversations with other human beings, would that bring him out of his mental spiral? Would it give him confidence in himself? Would it bring meaning back into his work? So I started showing Coda's work to people. I took this one, and the islands which you just played, the theater, the notes, the house cleaning game, and some of the prison escape games. I brought them to people that I knew and trusted. I asked their opinions. And the great part is that they really loved his games.
Really?
You know, the point of it all was just to give him some external reference point, but they genuinely loved his work.
Really?
There was nothing for him to be afraid of.
I find that hard to believe somehow. If the general public loved his work, or whoever you showed it to, which I guess could all be artsy people as well. Put down your weapon, put down your weapon. Okay, I did. I don't have it anymore, I promise. Just kidding!
Can you see why I felt like this was the right thing to do? Because it's the thing that I always feel like I need, to be told that my work is good, that I am good. When someone really connects with a thing that I've made, when they see themselves purely in my work, there's nothing that feels better. And I got to give that very same feeling to my friend. I did something... I really felt like I'd done something good, like I was a good person. I felt like there was a friend who was in trouble and was unhappy and maybe didn't like themselves, and I could fix it. If I could give him this gift, maybe I could fix the problem. When they told me how much they enjoyed his games, it was the best feeling. It was the absolute best feeling. It made me feel so happy. So beautifully, beautifully happy.
Well, aren't you precious? You're just a lifesaver, aren't you?
So anyway, Coda finishes this game, and then really he just kind of takes off for a while. So this is June of 2011, and I didn't hear anything from him for several weeks, I guess. And so out of nowhere, one day I get an email, and it's got a private link to a new game of Coda's. This one is called The Tower, and to my knowledge, it's the last game that Coda ever made. So let's take a look.
Let's. The Tower.
And this is where I have trouble saying anything meaningful about Coda's work. Because more than anything else, The Tower just feels distant. It feels like it's trying to distance itself from the world. It's a very cold game. This room actually has a maze in it.
Okay.
Except that all the walls of the maze are invisible. And then every time you touch one of the walls, there's this awful flashing and noise, so the experience is really miserable. The game goes beyond not being meant to be played, it actually seems to despise the player for trying to play it at all. But I do want to show you the rest of the levels, so when you're ready to continue, press enter and I'll put a bridge over the maze.
Let's do it. I actually honestly think there's nothing to it. That we were gonna run into walls regardless, so we'd have to create this bridge. I don't think this is passable. I think it's a bunch of BS.
And to be fair, it's not like this is the first game that's needed some modification to be playable. Like the house cleaning game. You know, that one used to actually loop the cleaning chores and you just cleaned a house forever. I had to cut it off so that you could exit the house and the game would actually end. But that game had an idea that it was actually trying to communicate. What's the deeper idea behind the invisible maze?
You will always fail, so stop trying.
The only way past this challenge is to randomly guess the 6-digit code.
What?
Like the invisible maze, it's frustrating to me, because it's the opposite of everything else that Coda has made. It doesn't encourage thought or engagement. It doesn't ask anything of me, except a lot of my time. If I could have reached him during this time, then maybe I could have asked him, but I couldn't. I still don't really understand why this is here. I'll put the code on the ground for you here, though, so that we can move on.
I honestly don't think any of his games require much thought. Are you kidding me? Let's just be brutally honest. I got one digit right. Oh, damn it. Let's go.
The switch to open this door is actually on the other side of the door, meaning that it's literally impossible to solve from this side. So even if you somehow brute forced your way through the first two challenges and you got to this point, there's actually just no way to progress. And it's scary for me, the idea of Coda cutting himself off entirely, just saying, you know, that's it, that's the end of the conversation, not giving me any way to fix the problem. I feel like a failure, I guess, when I can't fix the problem. But I can open this door for you, so let me do that.
Thanks. I thought we were just gonna sit here looking at it. Where's this? I was gonna say. Close
Was
again.
I a failure for not understanding this game? I mean, I don't know why I would be. It's not like everything needs to have a solution, but I feel it somehow. I feel like I failed, and I don't understand why.
I feel like you more failed at friendship as
I
opposed to
remember,
the
it's
game.
June of 2011. I'm playing this for the very first time, and as I'm playing, I'm thinking to myself, I don't know this person. I have no idea who this person is. It wasn't the guy I knew, it wasn't my friend. I had come to so many conclusions from looking at all of his work up to this point, and then suddenly none of them... I had been trying to, though. That was the thing. For years, I was trying to get to know him, to understand who he actually was and what he stood for. I asked him so many times to please just tell me what his games mean to him. I asked him please to tell me what the 3 dots mean.
Yeah.
And he wouldn't.
We've seen some 3 dots places.
I just felt so strongly that if I could have connected with him, that if I could have somehow made his work my own, that I would finally be once and for all happy. It was that I needed to see myself in someone else. I needed to be someone other than me. But he stopped and left, and it felt somehow like I had failed.
Oh, you're fine. Don't worry about it.
Where did I screw up?
You didn't. Being too hard on yourself. Dear Davey, thank you for your interest in my games. I need to ask you not to speak to me anymore.
I'm the reason that you stopped making games, aren't I? It's because of what I did. I poisoned it for you.
Oh. So instead of just sending an email with it, you send in a game that's impossible to actually get to this point. Anyway.
But when I took your work and I was showing it to people, it actually felt... it felt as though I were responsible for something important and valuable.
What was that clicking? So wait. Okay, so this game is not solvable, so how would you possibly read these texts? I guess unless... I don't know, who cares? Anyway. Alright. You've so infected my personal space that's
the
possible
people who
I've been able
played
to plant
them,
solutions in my work
they
somewhere
treated me
hidden
like
between games.
I was important. They really listened and cared about what I had to say. Even though I was showing your work, it was... I felt good about myself. Finally. For a moment, while I had that, I liked myself.
Wait. So he didn't even add lampposts to them? The narrator did? Davey?
And then you stopped, and I didn't have anything left to show people. I just had to be with myself. And as soon as that happened, there was no feeling at all. Nothing. less than nothing. What does that mean?
Yeah, that's true. Probably a true statement. So this whole time the narrator...
I'm afraid that I did something really stupid because I don't like myself.
Yeah, this whole time the narrator is making it sound like there's something wrong with Coda, when maybe there's something wrong with the narrator the whole time, or with us. Here, that's...
That's why I'm releasing this collection of your work, is because I haven't been able to find any other way to reach you. I've tried everything. And so a part of me has hope that if I put this compilation out into the world, and if I put my name on it, that maybe enough people will play it so that it'll find its way to you, so that I can tell you that I'm sorry. I know I screwed up. If I apologize to you truly and deeply, will you start making games again? Please, I need to feel okay with myself again. And I always felt okay as long as I had your work to see myself in. I mean, is something wrong with me? Because I know that I did an awful thing, and I'm doing it again right now. Like, I'm showing people your work, but I can't stop myself from doing it. That's how badly I need to feel something again, like I'm an addict. There has to be something wrong with me. Can I apologize? What if I tell you I was wrong? Will that work? Will that fix it? I don't know. I don't think it will, but there's nothing else that I can do. Just tell me what you want. I'm sorry. I'm sorry. Please, start making games again. Please help me. Please give me some of whatever it is that makes you complete. I want whatever that wholeness is that you just summoned out of nothing and you put into your work. You were complete in some way that I never was. And I want to know how to be a good person. I want to know how not to hate myself. Please. I'm fading, and all I want is to know that I'm going to be okay.
Okay. Well... This is a nice looking place. There's absolutely no time.
More love, more praise, more people telling me that I'm good. Always more. It's like a disease.
I mean, everyone wants to be loved, you know? On the train. Train to nowhere.
Solution.
One of those trains where you don't actually have to go anywhere to get somewhere. Whoa.
I guess if someone had told me ahead of time that he just really enjoyed making prison games, maybe I wouldn't have thought he was so desperate. I wouldn't have told so many people that he was depressed. Maybe he just likes making prisons. Even now, the disease is telling me to stop. Don't show people what a shitty person you are. They'll hate you.
Someone, aka the narrator, has got depression or something. Is that what I'm getting here? Needs assurance from other people, needs positive feedback. Almost like taking his limitations or his feelings and putting them on
If I
Coda.
knew that my life depended on finding something to be driven by other than validation, what would that even be? It's strange, but the thought of not being driven by external validation is unthinkable. Like, I actually cannot conceive of what that would be like. What now? I think I need to go.
That's
And
probably for the best.
I'm sorry, because I know that I said that I would be here and I would walk you through this, but I'm starting to feel like I have a lot of work to do. I have a lot that I need to make up for, and so I'm
Wait,
just gonna...
you're leaving us in this place? Don't leave me here. There's nothing to do. Let's walk through all these doorways. Also, what do you mean you have to leave? What are you, like, making the narration up in real time as I play this? And, like, you're like, oh, so instead of actually finishing this game, a la Coda, you're actually gonna leave? But it still exists? Like, what the hell? What makes no sense. Oh no. Faster, faster. Eh. There we go. I don't know what it is about this game, but it's like making me tired. Like if I didn't have to like keep walking, I'd probably just fall asleep right now. So I don't know if that's a good thing or not. Maybe that's what this game is going for, sleeping simulator, but like just these blocky hallways and the kind of repetitive scenery is making my eyelids heavy. Let's walk backwards for a bit. There we go. No, boring. Wait. I almost turned around and started walking forwards towards the end of the beginning. AKA backwards, but in the forwards direction. You know what I mean? You know what I mean? Alright, let's get to this thing and fly off forever. That's what's gonna happen. I'm gonna glitch out at the end, or maybe actually permanently die. That'd be something. Here we go. Our fate. What happens? I don't know. We'll find out right now. There we go. I have no control over where we're going. We just go up. And I can look around. This would be a game. We should do this for the game. It's never-ending maze. But let's see. Let's look over to the sunset. Just let us fly. Whoa. It's cool that they're so far away that they're not even moving. This is kind of trippy. Let's just leave it on this, actually. There.
Turn back
Beginner's Guide. I'm just gonna let this song play. Let me know what you think. Interested to hear people's interpretations. And we can have a conversation in the comments. So thank you for watching, and I'll see you in another series. Take care, and goodbye.